Joey Oliver has been sentenced for his part in the murders of 2 people back in 1993. Joey Oliver is going to prison for 11 years. That was the ruling at Supreme Court today after Mr. Oliver pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the deaths of Dale Worthman and Kimberly Lockyer. It has been a very long road for the victims' family members. And with so many questions still unanswered, they say they still can't find closure. Here's NTV's Michael Connors.
It marked the end of at least this chapter in what had been one of the province's longest-running unsolved murders. Joey Oliver was sentenced to 15 years in prison, minus 4 years for time already served. The family say 11 years is not enough to pay for the lives of Dale Worthman and Kimberly Lockyer. But Justice Carl Thompson laid out in great detail how the case law made it very difficult for him to reject a joint submission of the prosecution and defense. For Dale Worthman's mother, Burl, it's still a bitter pill to swallow.
My husband is devastated by the fact that people come to our house all these years, know what we went through, and still never come forward with any information to us. All the times I pleaded on the media, as you well know, he had every opportunity then. And the times the police questioned him, he had opportunity. But he didn't. He chose not to.
As Justice Thompson said, sentences are never enough to take away the grief that the families experience as a result.
There is still no closure for the families because there are still so many unanswered questions. Hanging over everything is Oliver's allegation that Shannon Murrin actually committed the murders.
I don't know if what he's saying, that third party, is the person. You know, he says he was in fear of him, yet he continued to hang around with him. You don't hang around with someone you're afraid of. You stay as far away from him as you can.
Do you think Joey Oliver would have been the shooter himself?
It's a good possibility. A good possibility. He supplied the gun, the bullets, he had it.
Justice Thompson read out Oliver's life history. Orphaned at 11, living on his own since he was 13. Oliver says he came under the influence of Murrin at a young age and is subjected to his control and intimidation to this very day. Murrin denies all the allegations, and Burl Worthman still does not know what to think. She just hopes if there was a third party involved in the murders, the police will catch them.
There's no closure because there is no reason. If I had a reason why they had to die, I could probably understand it more. But when there is no reason, how do you justify it? You know, and if there is a third party, as they say, involved, I only hope to God they get him. And this time it'll be first-degree murder.
As for Joey Oliver, Mrs. Worthman says she wants to make sure he serves his full sentence. She'll testify against him at any parole hearings that happen in the future. Michael Connors, NTV News.
And later in the newscast, we'll have more of our interview with Shannon Murrin, which NTV News was first to bring you last night in the Carter File.
Welcome back, everyone. Glenn Carter is with us now for the Carter File, and this evening, Glenn, more of your interview with Shannon Murrin.
That's right. Thank you, Lynn. Well, justice was served today, 16 years after the brutal killings of Dale Worthman and Kimberly Lockyer. Joey Oliver sentenced to 15 years in prison today, 11 after time already served. But Oliver wasn't convicted of murdering the couple, and if he didn't do that, it means the killer may never be known. Joey Oliver says it was Shannon Murrin, a claim that sparked anger and criticism from Shannon Murrin, and a grim warning for Joey Oliver.
I'm not taking no crap. Not right. Took enough. No. Just the buck stops here, and that's it. I didn't murder Kim and Dale. I didn't know him.
It's what Shannon Murrin has been saying for years now. Saying it again after Joey Oliver named him in court as the man who shot and killed Dale Worthman and Kimberly Lockyer 16 years ago.
You know, I'm not going to shoot two people for no reason. For absolutely no reason. Why would I do that? For no reason. Right? Didn't know him.
Murrin hasn't been charged in the killings. And while police say the case remains open, the Crown says it has no way to prove that Murrin was the triggerman that day. even though Joey Oliver claims he was duped into delivering the victims to their deaths, believing that they would be beaten by Murrin, not shot. Murrin says the Oliver claim defies logic.
So what did Joey Oliver want everybody to believe? That I just, can you get Dale down the woods so I can beat him up? For what? Why would I want to beat Dale up? And why would I want to involve Joey Oliver? And why would I let that bag of shit walk around for 13 years with the knowledge that I murdered 2 people and buried them? Oh, you don't explain that. Well, what did I do? Walk over the road with a pick and shovel in my hand and go down and dig a couple of graves and then assume that he's going to keep his mouth shut? But one thing, I'm not as stupid, not right? If I'd done something like that, there wouldn't be 2 graves, there'd be 3. He'd be stretched right out there and that, right? If I were a cold-blooded killer, Joey Oliver would be laying out on the ground next to him.
Shannon Murrin hasn't been charged with the Worthman Lockyer murders, but after being named as the trigger man, it's likely he'll never be able to fully establish his innocence. You will probably go to your grave in some way, being known as the man, although unproven, that was a trigger man in these 2 horrific murders.
Yeah, probably.
Can you live with that?
You mean, can I die with that? Going to my grave. I can live with anything, isn't that right? I'm tough that way, isn't that right? First I let things bother me. If I heard someone had said something, well, geez, I go right to him past few years. I'd say, you got something to say about me? No, I never said that. No, I don't care. I don't care what people believe in that, right? It's just that sometimes you got to speak. I stand up for myself.
Murrin says he doesn't consider himself a suspect in the Worthman Lockyer murders, even with Joe Oliver's courthouse accusations that he's the culprit. But Murrin had this grim warning for his accuser.
I don't think he's going to come out of prison alive. All right. Because, I mean, he's an informant, and that's the way informants go. Isn't that right? 12 inches of steel. That's what I sees for him anyway. I didn't tell anybody to do anything for me. But, I mean, a 12-inch shank in your guts is going to make Joe have a lot of regrets. Isn't that right? He can't go anywhere. Not right. Yeah.
Well, and the last statement in the statement of facts from Joey Oliver by the Crown saying that they can't corroborate anything that Joey Oliver said, therefore there will be no charges against Shannon Murrin. It just can't be proven. So,
as Mrs. Worthman said in her piece, still many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn.
All right.